Are you stuck because you're afraid? Are you stuck? Is there something you want to do? Is there something you can't do because you're afraid? In this video, I'm going to talk about the essence of fear, the nature of fear, what we can do to overcome fear, and why fear isn't real, and why we can embrace fear in a positive way, turn it around, and make it work for us. Now, what is fear? Tony Robbins says fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is not an actual thing most of the time. Now, if you're getting chased down a dark alley and someone's trying to hurt you, that is fear that is useful because it causes you into a fight or flight. So you can either fight and protect yourself or run from the potential attacker. Fear was created for a purpose. We don't live in a society where there's a lot of things attacking us regularly. Not to say that people aren't getting mugged or things happening that are negative in the world, but I'd say if you're watching this video, there's a high likelihood that 99% of your life exists in a safe state, free from animals chasing you, apex predators hunting you. Fear comes from our amygdala, where anxiety comes from as well, and that is the caveman, the early reptilian part of our brain. Now, it has really never evolved past that. We just keep layering on these more and more complex and intense structures on top of it, which is why we have such intelligence, ability to use tools, language. We're so heavily evolved, but we're still using an emotional center that was created back in like Mr. Cro-Magnon days. Fear and anxiety are protective mechanisms, but they're maladapted for modern times. I'll give you an example. Now, I used to be really afraid of flying. I still flew, but anytime there was turbulence, I would literally panic. So what I decided to do was continue to fly, but instead of getting afraid, I started to use the fear and anxiety as excitement. So I flipped it around. Now, these videos, I was deathly afraid of making these videos. Like, I literally talked to someone about it and they said, "What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of people judging you?" I was like, "Not really." "Are you afraid of the content being bad?" I was like, "It'll probably be like, okay, good enough at first. It'll get better." And I literally had no idea what I was afraid of. Fear exists surely to protect us, but it is not a good protection 99% of the time. It is a protection to keep us comfortable, to keep us in our box. Now, your ego wants you to stay safe. Fear is a mechanism of the ego. The ego says, hey, we're comfortable here. Things shouldn't change because when there's uncertainty, I can't protect you. Fear is a friend because it actually wants to protect you, but it doesn't understand the nature of your consciousness. It doesn't understand what your heart wants. It doesn't understand what you want. It only understands protection. Fear is used as a protective mechanism to keep you comfortable, to keep you safe, and to keep you in a place where there are no variables that aren't known, no unknowns. My cat is literally being crazy right now. And I love how there's this giant blank space right here, by the way. Look at this. I got a picture fall down and I haven't like gotten a new one yet. So the way you get over fear is you have to put yourself in the situations that help you conquer them. So I went skydiving. I hated every second of it. There wasn't a moment I enjoyed it until I got to the ground. There's a photo of me like, hey, bro. But like, that was like the 2 seconds I pretended to have fun because I knew I'd want to post it on social media. But like, I literally have a video somewhere of me going, and I was like so nervous. I was like, fear's on the other side of life. But I meant to say life is on the other side of fear. And that's true because the things that we really want exist in the unknown, exist in the uncomfort, exist in doing the things that might put us in the line of fire, of judgment, of fear, of anxiety, of uncertainty, of failure. Failure. What if I post these videos and I fail? How about this one? Fear of success. What if I'm successful and I don't know what to do? What if I'm successful and I'm still unhappy? What if I just live in this state of unknowing if I could actually accomplish something, but then at least I won't know if I fail or succeed? What is fear holding you back from doing? Do you want to talk to that girl? Okay, go talk to her. What's going to happen? I like you. I don't like you. Boom. When I got my first sales job, this is way back in the early of my career, right when I was out of college and I was living in Florida. It was this company called, I'm not going to say the company name, but essentially I would call people that own timeshares and I would say, hey, Mr. Timeshare owner or Mrs. Timeshare owner, will you pay us $500 so that we can rent out your timeshares to business people? It actually saves them money on hotels. And it's a great opportunity for you to make back some of that money that you can never get back because you got stuck in this like contract, and people really had kind of been wrapped up in this whole timeshare thing. There were some great sales tactics, but people weren't using them and they still had to pay fees or whatever. And for 2 weeks, I would leave voicemails. And if anyone answered the phone, I would hang up. Hey, it's Joe from message, click. I never answered my calls. And then I got one sweet little old lady on the phone. Okay, Grandma, get out your credit card. Oh, what's the numbers? Okay, cool. She's like, oh, you're so nice, young man. And I was like, uncomfortable. And I wound up quitting the next day. I slid a note under my boss's at the time's door. Folded it. Slid it under the door. And I fucking sprinted out of the building. Then I blocked his number and I never talked to him again. That was fear. I was just afraid to talk to people on the phone. And then I wound up working in sales for like the next 15, 20 years with no problem. But it always sucks at first because it's scary, and that's okay. And you're always going to suck a little at first when you try something new. And there's still things that I do that are scary. I have too regularly going to in-person meetings of people I don't know, essentially cold approaching them. The first time I had to do that, I literally drove by. A guy came outside to have a cigarette, and I went, oh, I can't go in there because that guy might look at me weird. And I just hyped myself up, did my little triad. Let's go, winner. Everybody loves me. Rolled in there, didn't even acknowledge me. And the person I talked to was super nice. So I got direct feedback that it's okay. But that's only because I did the thing. I didn't let the fear hold me back, and you can't let the fear hold you back. So here, let's talk about, and I'm just kind of riffing here, but essentially what you need to do is figure out what you're afraid of. Now, in the case of making these videos, I realized I had no idea what I was actually afraid of. I wasn't actually afraid of anything. I was just afraid because it was unknown and it was new. So I picked it apart, and once I realized I was not afraid of anything, any actual thing, it made me feel better. Then 2, put yourself in the situations where the fear can be felt so you can desensitize yourself. You're afraid of flying like I was. Okay, I still flew, but I flipped it around. Okay, so that's the third one. So let's use the stimulus of the cold calling. Just keep doing it. Okay, call 100. Oh, someone picked up and they were nice. Oh, okay. Someone picked up and they were mean. Oh, okay. Someone picked up and they were nice. You desensitize yourself. It's called exposure therapy. And then that other one is you change it around in your mind. Okay, I'm on a plane. I'm scared. Oh, sweet. It's exciting. It's like a roller coaster. And seek to understand what it is. Turbulence is just like choppy waters. It's super safe. So that helps, right? I mean, it still feels really weird, that feeling in your stomach. It's like the worst roller coaster you don't want to be on. But there's ways to get over it. You can't live in fear. You can't sit in fear. What life do you want to live? I've been living a life I didn't want to live a good chunk of my life, half my life, climbing up a mountain that I didn't want to climb because I thought that was my only option. And then when I got to the top of the mountain, imagine what that felt like. All because I was afraid of doing something out of the box, doing the thing that I know is meant to do. What are you meant to do? What's that thing for you? But don't live a life that you don't want to live. Conquer your fear. Don't be afraid of something. Think about it like this. No one actually cares. Everyone's thinking about themselves. I'm thinking about myself at night. You're thinking about yourself, and that's okay. We're all the star in our own story. But don't let a group of people you don't even know or like control what you do because you're afraid of their judgment. Don't let being out in public, approaching a girl, a guy, talking to people. Like, if you're awkward, you can get better. Like, read about it. Anything that you want to do, you can research. But the goal is you got to start before you're ready. Because if you live in the research state, you'll never do it. You can research forever. You know how much time I spent over the years, like, trying to skirt around actually posting content of myself, talking about what I'm passionate about? I started blogs, websites, Instagram accounts, Twitters. It was because I wanted to try to skirt around what I really wanted to do because I was afraid. Like, what do you want to do? If you're doing what you want to do, that's great. Well, what are you afraid of on the day to day? Is there something bothering you that you're afraid of? Is there someone that you want to talk to? Is there someone that you'd like to be with that you're afraid to talk to because you're worried they'll reject you? Well, what happens if they reject you? At least you'll know. What if they don't reject you? Losing is just data, right? Don't live in the unknown where you never know. Don't live a life where you go, what if? I should have, I could have, what if? Just do it. Go fail. Be okay with failing. Detach from the outcome. It literally won't matter then. And what's crazy is when you stop caring, if you fail, you'll be more successful. Once I reached that point in my career where I literally genuinely did not care, I was just going to meetings to have fun and make connections. I actually doubled my productivity, doubled my sales. People don't like outcome dependent people. Imagine when you go on a date and your whole goal is to just sleep with someone. They can sense that. What if your goal is just to have fun? What if your goal is just to be there for yourself? What are you afraid of? I think it all comes down to us worrying about whether or not people will like us. And then if we're safe. It's two things, right? I want to be liked. I want to feel safe. I want to be liked. I want to feel safe. But you are safe. And if you're not, figure out what you need to feel safe and figure out what you need to feel loved, to feel liked. But it's got to come from within you. So if there's situations that you're afraid of, put yourself into them. You're going to feel a lot better once you do it time and time again. Just knowing that you're doing it to improve yourself and that you're there to conquer a fear is going to make you feel 100 times better. So let's recap. Acknowledge what you're afraid of. What am I really afraid of? I freaking love when it does that thumb. I feel like I can't get it to do it, or like the balloons. I was trying earlier and I was talking to someone on FaceTime, but when it works, that feels good. That's the universe saying this is a good video. And I have no idea. I just literally pick a topic and I just freaking beep, go. So I hope you guys like it. I'll see it when I edit it. So let's recap. What do you want to do? And what's stopping you? What fear is stopping you? Ask yourself the questions. What am I really afraid of? If you find out that it's nothing, it's just the fear of the unknown, good. Then you go forward. If you find out that it's something, then dig into that. Okay, I want to talk to this girl, but I'm afraid of being rejected. What are you afraid of? Being rejected. Okay, what is rejection? It's data that someone doesn't like you. Okay, cool. Then now you stop pining for that person and you can start working on yourself and moving towards maybe being with someone else that will like you. So it's now, instead of being rejected, you're actually moving forward. So maybe you don't get rejected and then you can be with this person that you like. And maybe you just feel good that you gave yourself the chance of talking to them. I approach women all the time. I'd say half the time it doesn't go anywhere. Half of that time it's awkward as shit. And the other half of that time it's like really cool conversation. Half of those people probably have boyfriends. They will mention them. And then the other half may be single and then maybe we'll get their number and become friends. But like when it's awkward, it's uncomfortable for everyone. But like, it's not going to stop me. Like I give myself credit for just being like, hey, yeah, you did it. You know, like use that as a trigger to just go do it. And then you start putting yourself in these situations, they become less and less weird for you. You know, like there's no one that isn't afraid of things. There are just people who use the fear to stay stuck. And there are people who use the fear to move forward. And the people who use the fear to move forward or don't allow the fear to let them stay stuck experience less fear because they have put themselves in those situations more. They're exposing themselves and it brings the level down. There's still that like feeling, right? But eventually it gets to the point where it's not like a fear feeling. You turn it into that excitement. Oh shit, I feel it. That nervous energy. Person over here who doesn't challenge themselves to push through it, that's fear. Person over here who is used to being in these situations but still feels the same feelings biologically. That's anxious excitement. Let's go. Right? So you got to get from here to here. Oh shit, I went like the right direction with my hands this time. That's incredible. Challenge yourself, figure out what you're afraid of, put yourself in this situation so that you can push through it. Change the feeling, fear, nervous excitement. and push forward. Always push forward. There's always going to be things to be afraid of because the reality is that life is on the other side of fear. Uncomfort is the area of growth. Pain is the stimulus for growth. Fear is painful, right? You feel fear. Good. You're growing. Don't let it keep you stuck. Go do your thing. Accomplish your goals. Like, it's your life. It's very short. How many of your parents or grandparents or aunts, uncles, old people, it goes by so fast? There's a reason everyone says that, because it's true. So whatever you're afraid of, whatever's holding you back, you need to go chase it, and you can do it. Literally anyone with a average level of intelligence can accomplish anything. You don't need to invent like a cure for anything. You don't need to create the next SpaceX. You don't need to go to the moon. You don't need to do anything out of the ordinary to have an incredible life if you just push through fear, stay positive, keep your eye on what you want, and don't let things that aren't real hold you back. False evidence appearing real. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy to be part of your journey. If you're watching this video, I'm so grateful for you. This is freaking awesome. This is like basically something that's kind of like a dream come true for me. I can't wait to get to the point where these become my full-time job. And if you're watching, I really appreciate it. Peace, love, applesauce. Be good. Thank you so much.